Hi there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
And I'm Spider-Man.
And I'm Peter Parker.
Miles, Gwen, thanks for joining me today. We remember Tony Stark. Yeah, you guys want to take that off. It's probably very uncomfortable.
Secret identities revealed.
If you guys haven't seen our reaction to the official trailer, which is essentially trailer number 2 for Spider-Man Far From Home, go check that out right away. Now we're going to do our breakdown of the trailer.
And potential possible spoiler warnings. We're probably going to be wrong on most things, but actually in the Avengers Endgame breakdown we did, we kind of right on a few things. So possible.
I want to immediately talk about something that's not going to be in the movie. I'd be very fascinated if it is. Tom Holland at the beginning saying not to watch this trailer. It just made me wonder, is this going to be in the theaters, this trailer, you know?
That'd be so funny. People who haven't seen Endgame.
I would love it if it played right before Endgame.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, yeah,
to see a bunch of people trying to get real fuck out of this theater.
Well, yeah, and you'd only have a couple seconds to get out because, like, the very first beat of the trailer is Tony is Peter mourning for Tony.
Yeah. A big part of this trailer is obviously, you know, not just Peter and not just Happy grieving over the loss of Tony Stark, Iron Man. It seems like the whole world sort of grieving over the loss of Iron Man here. There were 2 specific shots where you see paintings of Iron Man on walls, like
The big murals.
remember the Iron Man.
It's like Superman, Batman v Superman. The world mourns.
Well, there are a lot of fans in the comments going off about, like, oh, what if Miles Morales did those murals in a multiverse?
And
You never
what's
know.
funny is
Like,
the first painting that did look like something out of Spider-Verse. That would be pretty cool, especially because they're introducing the concept of the multiverse. It could actually be linked to the Spider-Verse. I do think it's a good touch to have the big effect not just be post-snap. A lot of the theme of this trailer isn't, oh, all these people are back now after the snap. A lot of these people, you know, oh, like half the world's population is back now. It all seems to be very centrally focused on the hero that is Tony, you know? Like, that's what everyone's really grieving over. I thought there might be a little bit more talk about, oh, all these people are back now who've been dead for 5 years or been vanished for 5 years, but it seems like the main focus is going towards Tony Stark.
well, because he's the new Jesus of the MCU.
He is.
He's the one guy who gave of himself to bring everyone back, you know? I can very much see why they would have him just sort of as this figure now, you know? Beyond, yeah, I'm sure everybody's happy to have their family members back,
I would suspect, though, that they're going to have to talk about, you know, half the universe come back. And also because I would assume some of the students from Spider-Man from Homecoming were not part of this snapping and the decimation, and they're probably in college now. And then there's definitely the core group who, like Flash, Peter, MJ, Ned, Betty, they were obviously snapped because they're still in high school.
Peter got very lucky that all his best friends, everyone in his debate team, was
so
snapped
kind of
away.
That was so kind of Thanos to make sure it's just that.
Yeah. As the trailer keeps going, like a big part of this relationship that's forming is Tony was like a surrogate father for Peter Parker. Now it seems like Happy is taking on that mantle for Peter Parker. As you see in Avengers Endgame, there's obviously going to be Endgame spoilers in here. As you see in Endgame, he's going to be looking after Morgan. Now he's looking after Peter Parker. He's still getting the rich boy treatment, you know? You see him going on the private plane with Happy in there.
And I do like how their relationship, him and Happy, has matured because in Civil War, and also we see some stock footage in Homecoming of the plane trip to Germany. We see that Happy can't kind of stand him. Like, dude, we got thin walls here. Like, all right, you've never been on a plane before. It's like you see that relationship definitely maturing a lot more. Again, seeing that father side figure. And my biggest question in this trailer is Happy looking for cheeseburgers for Morgan? An American cheeseburger.
That's
Endgame
going to be the
reference.
biggest payoff.
I like how he says, I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know you were going to be here after he was gone. Tony did this whole thing just for Peter Parker.
I mean, you could argue.
I don't need half the... No. It's just all about Peter. I'm just messing with you guys. Even though it was a very big motivation, they did have that moment in Endgame where he is looking at the photo in his kitchen. So yeah, it's a nice touch to keep going through here. And you also do see some more cool stuff with the Iron Spider suit that we didn't see before when he's, you know, jacking up some of those guys in the restaurant.
Yeah. A lot more elaborate web effects in
webbing
this one,
to the
which
walls.
Is nice. They give a lot more spidery things to do, which I thought was fun.
Feels more like out of the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. And I mean, like you guys, I'm a huge fan of hand-to-hand combat fight choreography. And again, in those small little snippets we saw, I thought it looked pretty cool. Like seeing multiple guys attacking him at once, and then he's using the iron spider suit, like with the iron legs to just like mess around with those guys, and then, you know, web them up. It just looked like really cool attacks and hand-to-hand combat.
I mean, the fact that even though there's many other remaining Avengers left, even some who are based out in New York City. I get why people might be like, are you the next Iron Man? Especially because he's rocking this iron spider suit, which has so much Stark tech involved in it.
Yeah, it has a lot of similarities to some Iron Man shit.
From what I gathered from this trailer, it seems like Peter's big primary like B story, but real emotional motivation. I imagine it's something along, because you see that Ned is clearly with Betty Brand.
Oh yeah.
In
They're holding hands. We saw it.
In every clip of Ned that isn't just him and Peter, it's him and Betty.
Yeah, even in the international spot, you do see them together when they're about to board a plane or something like that. Yeah. And a lot of this motivation for Peter seems he wants to go on this vacation, reconnect with his friends, and really tell MJ that he's in love with her and stuff. And then you also get a line later in the trailer, which is him, having sort of a classic superhero debacle, which is something we've seen Peter Parker really get into in other Spider-Man films outside of the MCU.
I always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger.
I feel like a real emotional context with this specific Spider-Man story is him trying to get in touch with what he truly values most, which would make sense. You come back from the dead, essentially, you're probably going to reevaluate what you're going to prioritize. Like in the first movie, he's all about, I want to be an Avenger, I want to be an Avenger. And in this movie, he's going, I'm ignoring Nick Fury. I just want to be with my friends. I want to be with my friends. I want to go on vacation. I want to enjoy my life this time.
Well, what's also interesting to me is that with that absence, a lot of people point out, and you've pointed out from the first movie of Uncle Ben and his impact on Peter, granted that wasn't an origin, I feel like the stuff with Tony and the grief, that subplot story will kind of take on some of that life of what the Uncle Ben story would have given us in this context. Because that's a huge mentor figure. Those themes of power and responsibility definitely came up in the last movie through Tony. So yeah, I gotta imagine both the love and then that sort of Uncle Ben quality are gonna be the emotional
and also at the end of Homecoming, we did start to see that mature side of Peter, like accepting like, hey, I just want to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't want to go on Avenger adventures or live in a room next to Vision, but I kind of just want to do my own little thing, be with my friends, and just again be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So we did start to see that again at the end of Homecoming, and obviously it's blossomed even more into this film.
Well, I do want to point out a little Easter egg that we discovered. When Happy is talking with Peter pretty much about wanting to ignore Nick Fury, there's a sign in the background, and I imagine this is somehow linked to the first trailer when Aunt May, they're presenting a check or something like that.
They're doing some kind of charity event.
Yeah, and in the background you see a sign that says that Forest Hills. Forest Hills is where Peter Parker has grew up in the comics. And there's a sign of Crusher Hogan. Crusher Hogan, Joseph Crusher Hogan, I believe is actually the inspiration for Bonesaw in the first Spider-Man movie, because his origin in there was about, trying to get $100 in a wrestling ring for under 3 minutes and earn $100,
Let's just call this...
that is the Bonesaw character, and so it seems like it's a nod to that.
Let's just call this what it is. Joseph Hogan is the long-lost son of Happy Hogan, okay?
I actually did get a kick out of that shot when Flash is saying he's in St. Marco Polo and he's posing with two girls. He gets hit in the crotch, because you're seeing this transgression. Flash Thompson, who is a bully, like his character is a bully. In this image, he's getting bullied.
What about also in Spider-Man Homecoming, where he's like, I say penis, you say Parker,
Yeah.
and he gets hit in the penis. That's what happens when you talk about penises all the time. You get hit there.
Even calls Peter dickless in the other trailer. Or Dick, what is it?
Something like
about
that.
a penis. All right, now we're really getting to the meat and potatoes here. The seeds, the roots, or some deeper word that I could come up with if I didn't pull an all-nighter. This movie feels way more like a spy movie than the other. Yeah, it feels like Mission Impossible when they're underneath the tunnel. They're in Europe. More than Mission Impossible. It's very spy aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
And everything about this trailer is feeling very spy aesthetic.
Oh yeah, when you get the tactical suit towards the end, which those are some of the most exciting things to me, seeing those espionage vibes come out.
It's cool to have that genre blend in here. And Nick Fury working with Quentin Beck, and here's where we get some interesting information where Beck says he's from Earth, just not ours, that the snap tore a hole in our dimension, that there's a multiverse out there. If you saw our reaction, I was saying that this could just be some made-up, elaborate sci-fi story. Quentin Beck seems to be a character who is, especially in this rendition, he seems to be borrowing a lot from other different famous MCU characters. Got a little bit of Thor in here, got a little bit of Doctor Strange in here, a little bit of Iron Man.
They did mention in Doctor Strange, they talked about the multiverse a few times in that film, like how they, they generate their powers through other dimensions of the multiverse. Baron Mordo, it said in that movie, the bill comes due. I mean, because when they tamper with the natural order of nature, and obviously they messed with time in a major way in Avengers Endgame, so maybe this could be the repercussions not only of the snap of them messing with time, so...
Perhaps. Or it's just some made-up bullshit.
Maybe he's just taking advantage of something he knows could be out there for his own game.
I feel like it could, for all we know, it actually could be cool if it was a combination of both. Maybe he is from another Earth. Maybe there is a multiverse. They are expanding that. Sony's really trying to push to get that linked to their Spider-Verse spin-offs and stuff.
Where's Spider-Gwen?
That could be the case. And then Mysterio could still be a bad guy.
Some people I've seen in the comments have theorized that perhaps it'll come down to something where Beck wants to save his own Earth, and so he won't be like a flat-out malicious villain, but because of the odds he's at with Peter, with what's going on this Earth or whatever, if that happens to be the case, maybe that will be kind of the thrust of the conflict there.
As cool as that would be, this is probably just a case of a struggle with expectation, because I was really looking forward to the special effects artist coming in here.
Stuntman.
Yeah, I was looking forward to all that. That concept, I'm like, that would be cool. Maybe that is still part of his backstory, but I was kind of looking forward to just the con artist trickery of it all. Yeah,
the classic origin.
Yeah, and I mean, they did kind of change up the Skrulls a little in Captain Marvel, because normally they're really bad, and then...
Yeah, the MCU is not, they're not shy from changing up origin tales.
And that doesn't mean all Skrulls are good, that just means that specific group of Skrulls.
Thank God you clarified that.
Yeah, I just want to make
You're
sure.
about to piss off the world.
I know, sorry guys.
With Peter grieving, he's definitely going to step in and be some kind of inspiration or perhaps a mentor figure, working together. I gotta imagine that shot with the glasses at the end of the trailer, I have to imagine is where he's going to figure out, or maybe Tony leaves him some kind of crucial
the cliche,
message.
oh my God.
Yeah, like, oh, he's not a good guy after all.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine that's going to play out that way.
I mean, what I'm finding interesting about what they're doing with the Beck marketing specifically, they're really trying to sell us that he's a good guy. And I don't think anyone who's a Spider-Man fan or has even the slightest familiarity with Quentin Beck is gonna buy that. It would be so cool to me if you find out he's just making up this whole backstory. In the trailer, you pointed out that he has a wedding ring in there, and he's talking about how being a hero sometimes involves sacrifices and people die. He has some line in there about loss. Maybe there's something with that wedding ring linked to I lost my wife, And it'd be so fun to me if that was just a made-up story he was doing, We've
seen like shots of the elementals. It's just like interesting because we're thinking that these could be visual, effects that he's coming up with, but then we see all the destruction that's happening.
Yeah, unless he's really good at making bombs, People have theorized that these elementals are just illusions, but you're obviously seeing a lot of very physical repercussions that are happening with a lot of, major destruction happening in Europe. Thank God it's not in America. You do get some shots of the elemental characters in here. Andrew, break it down.
Hi guys. Basically in the comics, they're 4 immortals who have they have really supernatural powers. You got Hellfire, the wielder of the flame. You got Hydron, the lord of the waters. Magnum, not the condom, but the master of the earth. And then also you got Zephyr, who is the mistress of the winds.
Yeah, and in that, with going off of Zephyr, I remember people were theorizing how there's that shot of that one bridge where lightning's striking down.
I think that's the London Bridge, right?
I believe that's the George Washington Bridge in Europe.
My bad. I failed geography, guys.
People thought that could be Zephyr, and then actually in this shot in the trailer, you do get more of a humanoid figure coming out from the clouds there. A lot of the theme about this seems, and you briefly touched on this in our reaction of how people are saying the world needs another Iron Man. Even when they're talking about that towards the end of the trailer, you talk about it, Andrew. There's something where Peter has some type of hologram thing, right?
Yeah, it kind of harpened back a little to Iron Man when he's creating the Mark II and Mark III suits, and he's like doing that hologram. And then we see that shot from Happy where it's it gets that, I don't know what I want to say nostalgic look, but it's like looking like almost like he's seeing Tony like before his very eyes, a new and younger Tony.
And I wonder wonder if in that scene he's either flirting with the Iron Man suit
Or
or maybe
Ant-Man.
discovering some kind of upgrade or a new Spider-Man suit
True.
that Tony would have been working on or something like that.
I could definitely see Happy hooking up with Aunt May in this movie too.
That would be so cool.
That's what the fans have been asking
that
for.
would be so cool.
And it's going to be graphic,
That
too.
would really
It's an
be his-
R-rated
that would
movie.
really be
Yeah.
his-
And I love all this stuff with Happy trying to make himself a partner and
don't
not
work
just a
with
guy
someone.
who works for someone. And Andrew, you noticed this when we were making some notes. That was the first time anyone's actually ever called Carol
Captain
Danvers
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, we never actually heard that name. Like, hey, you're Captain Marvel, right?
Captain Marvel, unavailable.
And then we're also talking about Thor, how he's off planet because he's part of the Asgardians of the galaxy now. So.
Yes, so
can't
many
believe
things.
that.
So yeah, this trailer was very spoiler heavy.
How about when MJ's like, "You're Spider-Man, right?" I
Yeah,
couldn't tell if she was being her normal sarcastic self.
busting his
humor.
balls.
That's
Well,
very dry.
and also too at the end of Homecoming, she's like, "Where are you going, Peter?" I'm just kidding. You're good.
I feel like after everything the world has gone through, even if she is being sincere in that tone, I'd buy it. If this was pre-snap, I would expect a little bit more of a reaction, I guess, to that information, even
Yeah.
her just revealing that she knows. But after everything that's been going on, I feel like it would make more sense for that character to just be like, yeah, you're Spider-Man. I put it together.
Yeah, it's like I could see that going one of two ways. Either she figured it out because I'd believe that because they've established her as a sharp character, or it's a very wry MJ, like I'm busting your balls, but I don't realize I'm right.
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
thing.
guys, if you think about it, she had 5 years of being dead to think this through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
right.
I'm hoping that in this movie we learn a little bit more about, is it going to be one of those things where, yeah, I was gone for 5 years, but I don't remember any of it? Or are we going to get a hint at where they were possibly gone to, you know?
I might be wrong. I think there was a line in Endgame where Peter said, like, we were gone for 5 years. I don't really remember much. But then when I saw Doctor Strange, and he's like, oh, we got to go help Iron Man and all them. And I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think we might get some. I would like to get some information
Yeah,
on
no,
that. I guess.
Thanos snapped them all to a specific resort.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that this film will end on a shot of Peter looking up and going, I am Spider-Man. And so, bringing it full circle,
He's gonna snap his
with
fingers,
the
right?
Tony Stark, mentorship and all that.
That would not be necessary.
People really want him to take over the Iron Man mantle, actually. People are very excited about that in the comments.
In terms of being the lead, like, of the MCU and stuff, but not going by Iron Man, though,
No,
right?
not becoming Iron Man,
but
yeah,
the
taking up his
position that he
position.
held,
He's
yeah.
going to go in front of the news
And
camera.
the
Oh, yeah.
spirit.
The truth is, I am Spider-Man.
I'm all for it. Hey, they could do that in reference to, like, in the Civil War comics.
Yeah, where he unmasked himself.
Well, guys, what theories do you have about Mysterio and what's really going on with him? Do you think these elementals are real? Comment below. Before I wrap this up, I would like to give a patron of the day shout out to a man named Totally Jumbled. TJ, you lucky dog, you. He came out to visit LA, and I said, sure, come with us to go watch Avengers Endgame. And he did. And let me tell you, the guy bawled like a little baby. Yeah, he has a 1-year-old daughter. So all the father-daughter stuff in the movie made him bawl. And I had to sit next to his crying ass the whole time in the finale of Endgame. I mean, was I crying too? Yeah. But he was just crying uncontrollably. Get your emotions together, man. Do you want your daughter to see you like that? But in all fairness, I was pretty much behaving that way the first time I saw it, and the second time I saw it, I was with you. But I have every right to criticize you regardless, because that's what I do.
I really wish both of you hadn't blown your noses right into the sleeves of my shirt, though.
I knew I shouldn't have got you guys those tissues.
It was good to see you Totally Jumbled. It was good to hold your hand throughout the cinematic experience. Oh, what? You don't like this contribution to the shout out? Hey, Totally Jumbled, I love you. This is your shout out.
nice
Happy
meeting-
Spider-Man Day.
It was nice meeting you two at the theater. Really cool dude.
Subscribe, click that notification bell, follow Andrew on the Movie Source channel. This guy clearly knows what he's talking about. Check us out on Patreon. We got plenty of goodies. See you guys.